Hi everyone, welcome to our tutorial 2 walkthrough, which is getting started on BigQuery, how to access the data through BigQuery, and also a little bit of history on why we're using BigQuery and why we think it's useful for you during this hack. So, if we move to the next slide here. So, why are we using BigQuery in this hack? BigQuery is Google's cloud-based SQL database that allows for ease of access to data. So, why is this important to you? It allows for zero download of data, and it allows for complex transformations that would have been performed locally. And what this means is, remember in class where you had to download a CSV file and then import that data into your code? Well, you don't have to do that anymore with BigQuery because you automatically get that data. And then you can also utilize SQL's capabilities so that you can perform complex transformations before you even get the data. So that means that you don't have to do any sort of complex pandas operations or anything like that to make sure that your data is in the right place. All right, so I'm going to move to the markdown here, which details how we can access our data, and then also and then I'm also going to do a live walkthrough of how you can access your data as well. So as we can see, I'm on tutorial 2 here, and you can access this via the tutorials tab up here and then navigating to tutorial 2. And this markdown and the according notebook is linked for you as well. So if we get started here, we can start looking and see that we talked about why we're using BigQuery already. So we can kind of move past that section here. Now I'm going to talk about how you can access BigQuery. First, I'm going to give a summary on how it's done, and then I'm going to do a live walkthrough detailing every single step for you. So when accessing BigQuery, we need to input a few terminal commands to make sure that our environment is ready to go. Since you'll be using OAuth 2, you'll be logging in with your Google account, and then you'll be accessing the project that way. So how do we get to our terminal here? So first, when we first log into our workspace, we're greeted with this launcher page here. And the terminal button is actually highlighted in this red box down here. If you already began working in your workspace and you have a notebook open, you can hit this little plus sign and it's going to open this launcher page for you. So no need to fret, you can always access your terminal. Now, we need input 3 commands, and I'm going to walk through each one. We need to input gcloud auth login, and that is going to essentially pop up a link here. So Google tells you go to the following link in your browser. So you're going to copy this entire link, whatever they may be. It's going to be a lot different than what I have here. And then after that, it's going to ask you for an authorization code. You may ask yourself, where do I get this authorization code? Well, if you just input this link, you're going to be greeted with choose an account page. It should look very similar to signing in with Gmail. And you're going to pick your account. Then it's going to ask you for permissions, just like it does for almost any application where you have Google sign in. And you're going to hit allow so that Google SDK can now utilize your account and you can utilize all the resources within Google Cloud. And then it's going to pop you up with a page here, and the second box will contain your authorization code. You're going to copy that, go back to your Jupyter Hub or your Jupyter tab in your browser, and then in this yellow box, you're going to paste that authorization code. After that, that first command is done, and we're ready to move on to the next one. The next command here is gcloud auth application default login, and that's going to start setting up our environment. So like we've seen before, when we hit enter on that command in our terminal, we're going to see another link pop up and an authorization code. Very similarly to what we had just done, we're going to sign in with our Google account. We're going to allow that Google CLI, and then we're also going to copy that authorization code so that we can paste it in here, and then that command will be all done. So almost literally identical to what we have just done before. The last step in here is setting the project, and that's going to be gcloud auth application default set quota project IronHacks data. And this last part is setting the project. So when we run that command, your terminal should look something like this, where your credentials are saved to the file. And after that, you're pretty much done with the terminal. You can actually just close it out and everything will be good to go. And you can just run your queries. And I'm going to show that as we walk through here. And if you need this notebook, I break down every single step in there as well, so you can follow that along as well. And you can download that here in the notebook viewer. Now I'm going to move over to the workspace. I already have mine ready to go. So now I'm just going to do the live walkthrough of how we can authenticate ourselves through BigQuery. So if I open tutorial 2, we have the new tutorial 2, which explains every single detail in here. I'm going to walk through how this actually works and what you should be doing. So essentially what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go and hit terminal over here. And then, like I said, you can always open another launcher here, and you can always open another tab if need be. I'm going to close that out for now. So now I'm just going to do gcloud auth login and give it a second here, and it's going to throw you a link. You're going to copy this link in its total form, go over here to a new tab, hit enter, and then it's going to give you a login page. Then you can choose whichever account that you're using for the IronHacks challenge. So I'm going to use mine, and then this page pops up. So I'm going to hit allow here, and then it's going to give me my authorization code. So you can either hit this button or you can do a Control C, Control V there. Now I'm going to head back to my Jupyter lab, and then where it says authorization code, I'm just going to hit paste there, or Control V, and then hit enter. Now I'm logged in as my Gmail account, and I have to set the rest of my environment here. So I'm going to do gcloud auth application default login. And you don't have to type this out, guys. You can actually just copy and paste my commands. So I'm going to hit enter, and it's going to throw me another link here. And very similarly, I'm going to copy this link, paste it up here. You can open a new tab if need be. Hit enter. I'm going to use that same exact account, and it's going to ask, and it's going to say Google Auth Library wants to access my account. I'm going to hit allow just like I did before, and then hit copy, or you could just Control C, Control V. So I'm going to copy that, and then I'm going to hit Control V to paste that, and then I'm going to hit enter. So now it says my credentials are set, but it says that my quota project needs to be added. So we're going to do that. So we're going to do gcloud auth application default, and then set quota project, and then space IronHacks data. And that's going to set the project. Then we're going to give it a little bit of time, and then it's saving my credentials down. And now I've saved my project, and now I think I should be good here. So now you can just close out this terminal. You don't need it ever again. You only need to run this once when you first set up your notebook environment. And now I can go as normal. Now we've moved past all of this, and now I can move on to loading my libraries. So make sure that you run this pip install of db types. That's going to install that on the environment because it wasn't installed beforehand, so that it'll allow you to make those queries instead of running into an error. So we can just run that very quickly, and then we're going to do the imports just like we have done in many other Python files. And then we're going to configure our BigQuery settings. So setting the project here, and then assigning that to our BigQuery client that we have imported from this library here. So I'm going to hit play on that one. And then now those configurations are set. So now I should be able to query. And lo and behold, we have data. And that's awesome. So Now we see that we can create queries using just this command. So query and then 3 quotations. And then we do our SQL command and then another 3 quotations. We'll be getting into SQL commands specifically in the next tutorial video. So don't worry. We also have a live session on this, so you can also view that as well. And then now we can see we can manage our data just like we have done using pandas or any other library that you may use. So I can run that, and then you can see we get the results here. And then we can kind of start exploring our data since now we have access. So we can do another query, and then we can also print the data from that as well. And then we can create more complex queries. Again, we'll be going over that in the next tutorial. And we can see that it's going to print our data for us and retrieve that. And you see over here, there's no CSV files or anything, which actually makes this great. So you never have to download a CSV file. You never have to do a pandas read CSV, for example. And it makes it really easy and dynamic because all the data is already on your environment. And that's going to be it for our tutorial 2. If you have any questions, do please reach out using our Get in Touch button. Other than that, this will be it for tutorial 2. Thank you so much. Hopefully this clears up your authentication. Thank you so much.